Oh yeah, by the way, I love when Republicans go around claiming that the Republican Party isn't racist, and then like when the black and brown or sorry, when the Indian candidate drops out, you know, their comedy sites just are like, haha, what about racism? You guys love racism, right? And the answer from the Republican base is, yeah, we love racism. It's really great. From the Babylon Bee, Trump promises Vivek an administration position running the White House 7-Eleven. Dude, like, haha, because immigrants run gas stations. Haha. Like, this is the least. We can all agree though that this is the least surprising like instance of racism any of us have ever seen, right? Like, yeah. What did you guys expect from like Vivek's run in the Republican Party other than ending with like extensive amounts of racism? Right? There was a quote from the Iowa caucus night that basically was along the lines of had a line along the lines of you know, I would vote I'm not going to vote for you because after 9/11 this country has had a lot of trauma. Basically being like, you're too brown for us to elect this president because of 9/11. Like it like actually crazy shit. I wish I could find it right off the cuff, but I did not prep that one. I want Nikki to go by her real name and then try to say America isn't racist. True. True. So Trump posted this on Truth Social to his followers. I already showed this to you guys, but we're watching it again to compare and contrast it with a new ad that is being run against Trump now following the Iowa caucus. So this is the old video.
And on June 14th, 1946, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God gave us Trump. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, fix this country, work all day, fight the Marxists, eat supper, then go to the Oval Office and stay past midnight at a meeting of the heads of state. So God made Trump. I need somebody with arms,
is so fashy,
strong enough
it's
to rustle the deep
ridiculous, dude.
state, and yet gentle enough to deliver his own grandchild. Somebody to ruffle the feathers, tame cantankerous world
this is
economic
literal
forum,
cult shit.
come home hungry.
When people talk about a cult of personality, this is that.
Then tell the ladies to be sure and come back real soon. And mean it. So God gave us Trump. I need somebody who can shape an
Ron
axe,
DeSantis
but
is
wield
also a
sword,
fascist, but he's just
who has
less
the
good at
courage
being
to
a
step
fascist.
foot in North Korea, who can make money from the tar of the sand, turn liquid to gold, who understands the difference between tariffs and inflation, will finish his 40-hour week by Tuesday noon, but then put in another 72 hours. So God made Trump.
The guy who made it has made violent threats. That is the least surprising thing I've ever heard in my life.
God had to have somebody willing to go into the den of vipers, call out the fake news for their tongues as sharp as a serpent's. The poison of vipers is on their lips, and yet stop. So God made Trump.
He did share it,
God
though.
said, I need somebody who will be strong and courageous, who will not be afraid or terrified of the wolves when they attack. A man who cares for the flock, a shepherd to mankind who won't ever leave nor forsake them. I need the most diligent worker to follow the path and remain strong in faith and know the belief of God and country. Somebody who's willing to drill, bring back manufacturing and American jobs, farm the lands, secure our borders, build our military, fight the system all day, and finish a hard week's work by attending.
Yeah, by the way, just as an FYI, if you're a Christian, this is like actual blasphemy. You know, like this is fascistic blasphemy. And like It doesn't matter to Trump cultists. They're just like, oh, yes, oh. You know?
Attending church on Sunday, and then his oldest son turns and says, Dad, let's make America great again. Dad, let's build back a country to be the envy of the world again. So God made Trump.
Okay. What is this? I haven't seen the end of it. Oh, okay. So that's real, right? Well, this is also real, and this is a new ad being cut and pushed by the Lincoln Project. The Lincoln Project, I believe, are a group of kind of like never Trump Republicans. So here's kind of the follow-up on this one, right? The answer to the God made Trump with AI generated voice. So kind of them to let us know. Next time, pay a fucking voice actor.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a man to test the will and goodness of a free people. So God made a dictator. God said, I need a man who failed in everything but theft and broken promises to live in a golden palace and convince the poor he serves their needs. So God made a dictator. God said, I need a wicked man to lead the common folk with hatred and fear. So God made a dictator. God said, I need a corrupt man who is above the law and immune from justice. So God made a dictator. God said, I need a man who will use violence to seize power. So God made a dictator. God said, I need a man whose followers will call black white, call evil good, and call criminals hostages. So God made a dictator. God said, I need his political party to obey without question, and the press fear his wrath. So God made a dictator. God said, I need a cruel man who uses his power and position to punish and harm his opposition. So God made a dictator. God said, I need a man who breaks the faith of even his most godly followers and leads them to idolatry. Place him above me.
I'm sorry, what? Nancy Pelosi piercing his side. Oh my god, dude. I love how Putin's like really paying attention to this. He's really into this unclothed Trump situation. Yeah, this is literal blasphemy, guys. Oh no, of course this isn't the first Trump Jesus comparison. This is the first time I've seen him like crucified in art though, and it is very funny.
Place him above me. So God made a dictator. And then God said, I sent this man to test you, and until you cast him down, you have failed. So God made a dictator.
Okay, I have a lot of ideological differences with the Lincoln Project, but this was very good. This was a very effective like response to that just outright fascistic ad, you know? Your country is greatly unhinged. Yeah. Yeah. We're not all right. Took a day off editing my doc to edit a video about a cat I'm trying to rehome. Took in a stray and learned the hard way. I'm not a cat guy. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me see the Iowa voter on Vivek. Yeah. Iowa voter to Ramaswamy. I'm not being prejudiced, guys, but I don't like his name. I don't like where he came from. After 9/11, I still harbor a lot of hard feelings. Like, dudes, these people will just straight up say, yeah, nah, he's too brown for me. He's too brown for me, dog. I don't like how ethnic his name sounds. I don't like where he came from. Like, they are so racist. It's ridiculous, dude. I'm not racist, but I am gonna blame 9/11 on people from India, even though that has India has nothing to do with 9/11. God. I don't even know if he himself is from India, but I do know like his family is Indian. Man, it's gonna like this is the thing, right? If you are here, if you're watching my stream and watching my content, you are already so much more politically aware than like most voters, right? And this is the thing, right? Our analysis as like politically aware people often forgets the fact that like voting is a numbers game. You know, we need to just remind people who aren't politically aware and aren't politically engaged that they need to show up and vote for like very simple, concrete reasons. You know? Because otherwise you get people who show up who are like that, who are politically unaware but yet politically motivated, right? Like that guy not politically aware, right? But deeply, deeply politically motivated. And what has happened in the Republican Party is these deeply politically motivated people who lack the awareness and like the actual information about what's going on have wound up dictating huge swaths of the Republican like political power. It's ridiculous. My God. Low engagement, high propensity voters are very much a thing. Absolutely. Sleepwalking into fascism. Yeah, these people will seal clap for a fascist as long as that fascism is cloaked in an American flag. Wait, I'm reopening it. Sorry, that video is really good, and I had a really good thumbnail that I should have screen capped. Damn it. 1 second.
So God made a dictator. God said,
Damn it. Okay.
God made a dictator.
I'll just recreate
God
that
said,
later.
I need a man who will use violence to seize power.
Okay. Sorry. Stream is disorganized today. I did not have a ton of time to prep. See here. Moving right along. Also, I just have to point out Minnesota's governor, Tim Walz. He's pretty all right. He's pretty all right.
When he tells you he's going to be a dictator, take that for real. When you try to lead an insurrection and call people hostages who attacked police officers in the place where so many of us, it's the center of our democracy, we have to quit covering this like it's, well, you know, he said, she said. The facts are pretty much in front of our face. The idea here is he said, I will restrict and ask for a federal abortion ban. Do we want to turn this into Idaho where women are being put at risk and can't even get basic health care? So no, that's not a scare tactic, and I think Joe Biden's doing exactly right. And it would behoove all of the rest of us, because I guarantee you, history's going to remember who stood up in this time and who said that. You don't have to necessarily agree with Joe Biden. Biden, but he respects the electoral process. He tries to not disenfranchise people. He doesn't propagate the big lie, and he's not trying to restrict freedom. So no, this is real. It's not your team. This is not the NFL playoffs and you wear a jersey of one team, whatever. Donald Trump is a threat to the democracy, and there's too many people that are following that. That's why we need to reelect Joe Biden, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
Tim Walz is not wrong. And honestly, it's just really refreshing to see actual, like, Democrat figures accurately diagnose Trump as a fascist. You know? Like, I've been saying this for like 6 goddamn years, but like, it's nice to finally see institutional power catching up. About freaking time, exactly, Storma. Because again, like, it's gonna be like, just bringing this up, just touching on it real quick. It is going to be a hard year politically. It's going to be a hard year in our online social circles, because there's going to be a lot of people trying to convince you to throw away your vote, or convince you that not voting is like a radical expression of self, or some other thought along those lines. And the answer is, every time we go into the booth to choose our candidates to vote, we're doing triage. We're doing the best we can with like what we got, you know? And the reality is that our hand is severely damaged by the actions of the Biden administration. Biden is making it so goddamn hard to advocate for him. It's ridiculous, because these statements are not going to stop, and they're being made internationally, you know? Because Joe Biden keeps tacitly supporting genocide.
Despite the catastrophic death toll it has inflicted, Israel is losing on the ground and in the court of public opinion. There's no way that this ends that doesn't leave Israel a pariah state with occupation and apartheid on borrowed time, and they know it. So they're doing everything they can. Desperate acts of aggression to provoke a wider conflict with Lebanon, with Iran, with anybody, to draw in the US, to save them from the consequences of their own actions. And as Yemen shows, Butcher Biden is reporting for duty. With Europe's Frau genocide by his side, they are the ones who have enabled the continuation of Israeli terror. Without them, it would already be over. So take note, Butcher Biden. The ancestors of the Ireland that you claim to be from disown you. Keep our country out of your mouth. And as for von der Leyen and genocidal Germany, with your words and deeds supporting Israel in the ICJ, not in our name. The people of Europe stand with Palestine and with South Africa.
Based as hell. Yeah, here's the link for where I got that video clip. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, Biden has completely fucked his campaign and his ability to get people motivated to go and vote for him, you know? These statements are outside of the control of the Democratic Party, and they are going to continue as the genocide continues. It's wild that South Africa is anti-apartheid. I mean, it's not that wild, right? Like, many of the the leadership of like the anti-apartheid movement wound up becoming politicians, and now their government is pretty anti-apartheid. You know, not to say South Africa doesn't have problems, but I know people are going to be upset with this, but I won't be voting for Biden. I mean, it's hard for me to argue against that, you know? I will, though. And my main argument is, like, we have a choice here between, like, an open and out fascist who will end democracy and end any ability for us to make our country better going forward. And, like, it's either that or the opportunity at some point to make our country better through nonviolent intervention, right? That's kind of where we're at. Like, do we want the opportunity to democratically attempt a better future? Or do we want to just say, fuck it, it's time to start hoarding guns and training our militias? Because that's where frankly, that, in my opinion, that's where, like, a Trump presidency brings us, you know? Like, which enemy would you rather have? A neoliberal, a milquetoast ancient neoliberal who can be bullied around? Or, like, an out-and-out fascist who will just kill anybody who disagrees with him, you know? And, like, that's, you know? Like, it sucks, but every election sucks, because that is the calculus of every election. But, yeah. Not Trump. Oh, God, Paladin. Don't whisper that into existence. Don't do that. I like that idea. No! All right. Also, from earlier today, Ben Shapiro, if you want Donald Trump not to screw with the elections anymore, and you think he's really going to screw with the elections, you ought to vote for Donald Trump. Then he'll be in for another term, and then he'll be done. Because, you know, Trump cares about term limits. Trump really cares about term limits. Intellectual dark web everywhere. Everyone. No, he's definitely joked about serving for life. Like, I just don't believe him. I don't believe he's going to leave office in 4 more years after destroying our democratic process. Like, why would you destroy democracy and then, like, leave office to allow a democratic process to take place? Also, as a result of Mediaites reporting and the audio that has been leaked about Roger Stone, Trump's associate and go-between for terroristic organizations like the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, Capitol Police are now investigating Roger Stone for the comments that he made that were captured on audio, pledging to assassinate 2 sitting members of Congress. Again, we have to remember, folks, we came so close to losing our democracy that Roger Stone was sitting in cafes with off-duty police officers saying, it's time, we need to kill Representative Eric Swalwell. We need to kill, like, Jerry Nadler. We need to, like, he's talked about killing members of Congress for Trump. like... The way he looks these days, I don't know if Trump will survive till 2028. I really don't want to roll the die on this one, because we all know just how long evil motherfuckers like Henry Kissinger live, okay? The evil motherfuckers live until they're like 110 years old. Like, Trump might be old as dirt right now, but he could have another 15 to 25 years in him. You know, like, Kissinger didn't look too good, but he still made it to over 100 years old. You know, like, do you really want the fate of our democracy to be teetering on the lifespan of an old, evil motherfucker who won't be dead until we're in our 50s? No.